The 2020 election is finally over. Whether the inauguration of Joe Biden filled you with joy or fear, one fact remains. He is our president. Pray for him, his administration, as well as all American governing institutions and America itself. For those of you filled with fear, today's Morning Minutes in the Bible on Throwback Thursday is not about the legitimacy or illegitimacy of your fears, but rather some thoughts on how to deal with them. I Will Not Fear by Joe Fitch, from Plain Talk Magazine, October 1981. Fear dominates many people. It is their only consideration in deciding. The one-talent man laments, "I was afraid," and promptly starts digging, Matthew 25, verse 25. Gideon releases the fearful, Judges 7, verse 3. No concern for honor, duty, or loyalty. They are afraid, so they ran home. Fear before duty is cowardice and produces an ugly mess in both actions and character. It leaves a faintness in their hearts, and the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them, and they shall fall when none pursueth, and shall have no power to stand before their enemies. Leviticus 26, verses 36 and 37. Many wish they were fearless. They imagine that is the fabric of heroes. It is not. Fearlessness is not a virtue. It requires no character to face what you do not dread. Doubtless, one who feels no fear of all that man can do to him is either grossly ignorant or stupid. Paul endured threat of death, jail, beating, stoning, and social rejection. You might think him an Iron Man, yet he says, "And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling." 1 Corinthians 2, verse 3. A man is challenged. His mouth is dry and his heart pounds. A cold sensation spreads over his body as a knot balls up in his stomach. His muscles tremble. He has a strong inclination to be somewhere else. But he steps out and meets his giant. The brave man feels the same fear as the coward. His actions are without regard to his fear. Courage is the sterling attribute, the alternate response to fear. It is strength to face the detestable and do the dreadful. It chooses right in spite of consequences. It puts duty before fear. But how do we conquer fear? 3 things will help. Fear tempers fear. A small man will not back down from Hercules the bully. Why? He is afraid. He fears seeing disappointment or scorn in the eyes of his sweetheart. The bully's bruises are insignificant by comparison. And fear not them which kill the body, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell, Matthew 10, verse 28. Fear of man is diminished by a greater fear of God. Second, faith puts fear in perspective. "Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith?" Matthew 8:26. Faith sees the rest of the picture. It sees a world ruler back of the storm. It sees beyond the moment, torture and death, to a resurrection, Hebrews 11, verse 35. It sees the invisible companion when we are alone, 2 Timothy 4, 16 and 17, and Hebrews 11, verse 27. And our helper when we are helpless, Hebrews 13, verse 6. And third, love displaces fear, 1 John 4, 18. Fear is the initial elemental motivation. Love, a rational sense of values, is the mature motivation. Love grows, matures, and displaces fear. Fear, then, is no longer the deciding factor. Eventually, if there were no hell, love would still obey. Love of truth demands truth. Love of God compels worship. Love of right requires righteousness. The Lord is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do. Hebrews 13, verse 6. Thank you, Joe, for such timeless advice. Today is the day to overcome fear of the things of this world with a healthy fear of God instead of man, faith in God instead of man, and love for God instead of man. When God rules in our hearts, we will press on, looking past the fear and trembling that work against us. Well, thanks for watching Morning Minutes in the Bible on Throwback Thursday. Until tomorrow, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.